Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the latest edition of the CR7 Podcast. The RTGAC is back, and today, stream restarted on me. Anyway, let's just keep going. We are back with another edition of the CR7 Podcast. I think the 8th edition of the CR7 Podcast for the summer. We're getting closer and closer to the school year. And how do I know that? Cole's birthday was yesterday, so happy birthday, Cole. And my birthday is in 2 days now, so we are getting very closer to the school year. We'll be back in studio for that with the suits and all. And yeah, I mean, not a lot of things going on this week. A few free agency moves in the NBA. We obviously have a lot of combat sports to talk about. Yeah, Cole, anything really this week?
I got nothing, Ryan.
All right. I mean, we have a lot of stuff politically going on, and I am here to announce that I want the Democrats to run me for the president. I think I should run for president, Cole. I think I'm a man of the people. And I think that they would love me as president. And and you might ask, where's my campaign coming from? I have St. Joe's Prep backing me. I think everybody would love if I ran for president. You need a president of the people. You need a president that would bring justice to this nation. And I think I'm the perfect candidate, Cole. I don't know. I think I should run for president, Cole.
Are you going to run for student council president?
Heck no. That's a popularity contest. Are you kidding me? Those things, no matter what school it is, that is a popularity contest. I have always hated those. So yeah, that's something that I'd never do. But when it comes to the United States, I got bigger things to worry about, baby. Come on now. But anyway, but for now, I think we'll stick for this hour or so. We'll stick to the sports talk. And yeah, a pretty interesting week, but a pretty bad week for the Philadelphia Phillies, who went 1-3 right after the All-Star break. The All-Star game wasn't that great. I mean, it's always nothing special. But anyway, the Phillies, not so great itself. 1-3 this past week. Cole, talk about this team.
1-3. So, it happens. You know, it is what it is. But here's the thing. You go into the first game against the Pirates, right? You're like, all right, if we can just win the series here, we'll have some momentum going into this, series against the Twins, right? You go into that game against Pittsburgh, and Alvarado blows the save, all right? So, number one, that happened, all right? So, I mean, Gonzalez walked it off. I mean, there really wasn't much else to say about it. I thought Nola did not start well. He did not have his stuff going. Only 4 strikeouts through 5 innings. Soto, he has done a much better job here in these last couple weeks. I think he's done much better than Alvarado, in my opinion. Hallman struck out the side in the 8th. I think he should be our, closer at this point. I'm surprised we didn't see Strahm in that first game, but then you get to the second game, you got Christopher Sanchez on the bump, and, you're like, oh, wow, we're definitely going to beat Ortiz and the Pirates. You go into that one, you almost get shut out. I mean, besides Harper's home run in the last inning, there was nothing else offensively to show for. Sanchez did a great job on the mound. I want to point that out. Actually, not a great job. He almost made it 6, but he didn't. 2 runs on 8 hits, so that's pretty solid. Only 2 strikeouts, though. So, just didn't have much, of that put-away stuff that he usually does. Ruiz, he did a good job, getting through that, or just closing down that 6th inning. And then Strahm gave up 2 in the last inning. Didn't really matter at that point. The game was pretty much over. And then the last game, I was like, please can we avoid the sweep? Please can we avoid the sweep? And we did. Phillips, he pitched great. I want to start off with that. Much better than Michael Mercado. Didn't have as many strikeouts as he did last time. I think he had a bunch of strikeouts he had a couple of strikeouts last time he pitched. But 6 innings, 4 hits, especially no earned runs, that's what you want to see. He stepped up there, and I want to see him go. I wouldn't say deeper into games, but I'm going to say I want to see him go like twice through the lineup, because that's something we did with Mercado. He did well against that Cubs team, and then that second, third start, he started to crumble, and then, next thing you know, he's back in AAA. Junior Marte actually did a solid job. He didn't walk anybody, which, is always a plus because he struggles with that. Alvarado, I was surprised that we put him in there, but he did, lock him down, and we did shut him out. So I wasn't actually that mad about that game. But then you go over to the Twins game. I mean, Ranger, dude. Ranger got completely rocked. I'm just gonna start off with that. 5 1/3, and then 7 hits, 3 runs, only 4 strikeouts. I mean, he usually doesn't have that strikeout stuff, but still, I mean, he usually gets a lot of ground balls. Guys are hitting it in the air off him, and there are a bunch of just singles, doubles. I mean, ticky-tack hits here and there. Just getting guys on and getting them in for the Twins, and props to them. Ranger has not been good as of late. I don't know what's been going on with him. Maybe it's from that injury that he had earlier. I forget what it was, but he's probably still recovering from that. And then Junior Marte, I was about to hype him up. But, this game, he does the exact opposite of what we want to see. 3 walks. Whenever he limits his walks, he does fine. But, 3 walks and then 3 runs is just not going to cut it. We were in that game. Kirkering shut down the Twins in the 6th, and then you go into the 7th and the 8th, and they end up scoring 3 or 4. So I mean, down the stretch, our bullpen's got to be better. We got to be better at closing out games. I wouldn't say all this goes on the pitching, but most of it does. And then you go to the hitting. First, you score 7 runs. That's not even that bad. But then you score 1, 0, and 2. I'm looking at this game right here. You're going up against Woods Richardson. He's not a great pitcher at all. And then you got Wheeler on the bump for us. I mean, that's a must-win game right there. I don't see any problems that would go on with Wheeler on the mound. We should definitely win that game. And then Wednesday, it's an afternoon game, or not even afternoon, barely afternoon. 1:10, and Nola's on the bump. The Twins haven't decided who's going to start there, but I'm not sure who it's going to be. But yeah, I think we could end up still taking this series most definitely. Pitching, the bullpen has to be better. We have to limit, walks especially, and then offense got to score. Can't just be Trey Turner. He's been electric, but starting to cool off a little bit now. I don't really have much else to say. Ryan, shout out Nick Castellanos. He's been hitting solid after the All-Star break.
Hit a home run right after Biden steps down.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy. Anyway, first off, I want to start off with the 6-run game that you put up. I don't want to get anybody too excited about 6 runs getting put up against Marco Gonzalez. This guy is 32 years old, somehow has had 10 seasons in the MLB. I have never heard of this guy a day in my life. He's played in the AL for most of his career. And I don't pay attention to the... Huh?
With the Mariners.
Yeah, with the Mariners. I don't pay attention to the AL that much. But this guy, this guy has never had a full season below a 3 ERA. I don't get too excited about putting 6 runs up on this guy. Give me a damn break here. But anyway, that game you could obviously say it was a great game. Everybody played well. Pitching was good. Phillips, I really love him what he's doing. He's going, as Cole said, he's getting through 2 rounds in the lineup, whatever you want to call it. So he's done a great job so far. Mercado should be sent back to wherever he came from. I've had enough of him already, and I've barely seen him on the mound. So that we're going to put that out there. I really like what this guy's doing. Other than that, I don't really like what anybody's doing. Ranger Suarez has pitched absolutely terribly. Cole mentioned it. He obviously knows it a lot better than I do. That, Ranger has not had the ball hit on the ground. He hasn't had the infield play behind him. A lot of things are getting over the heads of the outfielders, something you really don't want to see there. I'm not sure what the problem is with Ranger Suarez. I really hope it's not fraudulent activity that we saw in the beginning of the season, and now he's just going to decide to dip. He was one of the top leaders in ERA in the beginning of the year. Now he's 8th in ERA now after the All-Star break. Just something you don't want to see. Aaron Nola has not pitched that great himself. Everybody was giving credit for Aaron Nola in the beginning of the year. I was obviously impressed with what he was doing. But, I mean, when you're taking the amount of pitches that Aaron Nola has been throwing in his starts, he's going through 7 innings and pitching almost 100 pitches, which is not that good when you really take it all into consideration. I have a bad feeling that his arm is going to start to decrease in stamina, if you will, throughout the season because he's throwing so many pitches. Cole, you could probably, attest to that as well because of how much people are complaining about the pitch clock. So that's something to put out there as well. Christopher Sanchez, did he pitch? I think he pitched in the Saturday game, if I'm not mistaken. He pitched in the Saturday game. Not a bad game. I mean, he only pitched for almost 6 innings. He gave up 2 runs. Not a bad performance. I don't like the 8 hits that he did give up. I was able to catch that game. Actually, I catch all these games, but I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I was pretty disappointed because he pitched 5 shutout innings of baseball, but then nothing really happened. I mean, the offense was just absolutely terrible. Nobody got anything going this week. I've been very disappointed with Kyle Schwarber these past couple of weeks, though I haven't called him out on it. Hopefully, now that I call him out on it, he will pick it up. Bohm is somebody who didn't have a good, few games as well. Castellanos, I mean, only hits home runs when something goes wrong, which is just what he has been known for. Harper, not a bad week. He hit a few home runs. He had a few things going. Should expect JT Realmuto back.
Yeah. Harper, a few home runs when it didn't matter, though.
Yeah, I mean, right in kind of garbage time, but it is what it is there. That's pretty much it for the Pirates. Oh, Friday, I mean, you did really well. I mean, you started out good. What do you call it? You started out, you had a great start. Nola was obviously on the – I talked a little bit about Nola, but I mean – Alvarado, man, Cole, what have I been saying? I mean, every time, he gets guys, every time he comes up, he gets guys on base and then is able to get him out, and he gives me a damn heart attack. He's run out of his luck. I said it last week, too. He has run out of his luck, and it now seems like he's giving up these runs, which evidently he gave up 2 runs here. Kerkering, 2 runs given up. He's either up and down. You don't know what you're ever going to get out of him. Strom, I know he gave up 2 runs. I think it was in the Saturday game, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, he did. He was an all-star. So a lot of our all-stars here not playing up to all-star caliber level. Cole was obviously a little critical of who got the nod for the all-star game appearances. Yeah. But, yeah.
We do need to see Hoffman
more. At this point, probably, because I've had enough of Alvarado, and my reservations about Hoffman. Marte, I can't absolutely stand him. Everybody knows my feelings on Junior Marte. I mean, ever since, he stepped on the mound, I have prayed to Jesus every time, he gets the call. But, I mean, you played decent against the Twins to start, and then in the 8th inning, you just absolutely collapsed. I mean, what a terrible, terrible performance by Marte. This guy is terrible. I mean, I'm glad that Marcado's been brought down. Realmuto should be coming back soon, so that's going to be good. We have Wheeler on the mound tonight. The Phillies are predicted to win, so hopefully they get the job done then. Then they play a day game, which they always have problems with on ESPN+. So hopefully they can get the win there. And then they have the Guardians series. And then, we'll be talking.
Guardians and Yankees.
One game against the Yankees. So that's going to be tough.
But they are home. So.
They are home. So, these are very tough teams. The Yankees series is definitely going to be one we will be talking about. That'll be next week, though. Cole, any final words?
I will say, you better win these series against the Guardians and Yankees because then you're going on a 9-game road trip. You're going to Seattle, LA, and then Arizona. So, better gear up, better get ready because, those series are going to be tough, especially against the Dodgers. All those games are at 10-10, so you're going to be up late. And then, again,
same thing with Arizona. All these games are later.
Yeah, all these games are pretty late. You just got to get ready, got to gear up, and, get your body ready for the big road trip. It's 10 games, not even 9 games, because 4 in Arizona, and then you're back on Tuesday at home.
These are all West Coast, too. All right.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. I don't know. All right, well, we'll see. We'll see how they can handle some adversity. They obviously...
They do have 2 travel days, so...
That's true. So, we'll see how they handle adversity. They did not handle it well these last 2 weeks. Bit of a down few weeks. But now we move on to combat sports, into the UFC and some boxing, which is Very interesting. So we'll get into some UFC 304 predictions. I have all of my predictions. I don't really have much on this UFC Fight Night card. I mean, this was just not the greatest card. Um, I was a little surprised that Bruno Silva actually won his fight in the second round. That was a bit of a surprise there. What do you call it? Very good win from Steve Garcia. I was surprised that he got it done in the first round. Uh, Knockout in a minute 36. That was a very good performance. I mean, Choi just had no defense when he got knocked down. I think he was already out when Garcia delivered the stand-up punch, but it is what it is. Then you get into the main event. Cole, you pronounce it better than me. Jandiroba versus Amanda Lemos. I mean, very good performance from Jandiroba. I mean, she took this fight to the ground, easily won the first round, in my opinion. Then she took it to the ground and did an incredible job. Cole, if you look at that, she went from the rear naked choke to that armbar in just a split second. I mean, what an incredible submission from Jandiroba. I don't want to hype this up too much, but that was absolutely incredible. The way she was able to get her leg over the head of Lemos to get into that transition to the armbar was absolutely incredible. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. I mean, I was watching it in my basement. I blinked for a second, and she was already in that armbar. Lemos almost was able to get out of it, but Jandiroba had that locked in too deep because I think the transition was just so incredible, and Lemos did not expect that at all. Not much on the stand-up there. Not really much to comment there. But yeah, the ground, what a submission from Jandiroba. You guys know us. If you guys know us, posted about it on X. So, go follow that up there. But yeah, now I think she could go fight Zhang Wei Li for the women's strawweight championship. I don't think there's really anything else. I mean, she was ranked number 5. Cole, you got this right. Jandiroba, you picked her to win this fight. I picked Lemos to get the win. You got it right there. Props to you on that one.
I think I did say submission as well.
I think you might. I think you did. But yeah, Jandiroba, great win. I feel like she could go fight Zhang Wei Li for the women's strawweight championship. She was ranked number 5. She just got a top 5 win. I don't really think there's any other title contenders at this current moment in time that have been too active. Obviously, Yan just lost to Wei Li. I think Jandiroba is next in line. Do I see her winning against Zhang Wei Li? No, but she's definitely first in line for the women's strawweight championship opportunity. Cole, anything on this card?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have much else. Surprise. I'd say it's a good win by Bruno Silva there, and then Steve Garcia, he came out ready to go. I did not expect Choi to be close, but I didn't expect it to end that early. I thought it would go at least to the second round. But yeah, Steve Garcia just completely demolished him. And then I mean, I'm really down, right? Come on now, Jandiroba submission. Come on now. I saw this one coming. Yeah, I would like to see her in the strawweight for the belt. But yeah, I don't really have much on this. I can see dominating the entire match.
Really a boring card, though.
Yeah, it was a pretty boring card. Yeah, I don't really have much myself to say about it.
I mean, the next fight night we're gonna get is you actually have a very great fight night. You have on August 3rd. You have that's actually going ahead with SummerSlam. Damn, that's going head. I don't know if that's going head to head with SummerSlam. I don't know. I have to check. But you have a great fight night on August 3rd. I mean, you have Sandhagen versus Umar Nurmagomedov. Magomedov is fighting 13-0. Cheeto is facing Figueroa. Tony Ferguson, who's we love to see Tony Ferguson just get at. Well, you don't love to see it, but Tony Ferguson just getting his ass beat in these last couple of fights. You have Mackenzie Dern. I mean, you have some really great. This next fight night card is really, really good. But and then you're going to get Dana White Contender Series pretty soon. So yeah, I mean, all that going on. But now, next up, we have UFC 304. Cole, we have some. I know you have your predictions. I have mine. I finally have them written down, so I don't have to go look for them again. I've done a good job there. So we do have a replacement fight, by the way, Christian Leroy Duncan and Gregory Rodriguez is on the main card now and moved off the card. Yeah, they just got moved onto the card.
Was it
Makev and Kape got moved off. I don't know. I'm sure you saw that one there. But anyway, yeah, we're gonna get into some predictions. So I'll start for this. We have Arnold Allen versus Gija Chikadez. Now Arnold Allen coming off a two fight losing streak. This is a featherweight bout. Obviously, I don't know why I had to point that out. But anyway, in the analysis that I have for this fight, I am going to take Allen by unanimous decision. I don't think he will finish this fight, but I am going to take him just because he is the better wrestler, and I think he is going to be able to control this fight against Gija, who is just as good as a striker. But Allen is going to be able to get a takedown at any point of this fight because Gija does not do well against defending takedowns. So I think that is something to point out there. I think he will be able to get a takedown at any point in this fight. I already mentioned that. I think Allen just has to make sure that he does not get hit by too many significant strikes in this fight, because if Gija does land a lot of significant strikes, the judges will go into his favor. But I think that if he can secure those takedowns, control the ground time, I think he will cruise to a victory here, and I think he probably would win all 3 rounds, maybe only win 2. But yeah, I'm going to take Arnold Allen to win this fight. Cole?
Yeah. You're going to be surprised, but I'm going to take Giga.
All right.
Split decision. I just feel like you said, I feel like he's going to get to Allen. I think the significant strikes are going to, pile up on him. And, in turn, I think Giga's going to win.
Arnold Allen is a pretty heavy favorite right now. He's minus 260, and then Gija is plus 210 right now. That's a pretty bold prediction from Cole, but as we know, he has gotten them right over the past couple of weeks. So let's not, let's not doubt Cole here. Next fight, Christian Leroy Duncan versus Gregory Rodriguez. This is a middleweight fight. I don't know why I keep saying that. I think it's just because I have it written down on my notes, just in case I forget, which I don't know why I would. But I'm going to take CDL here by a 3rd round submission. Listen, I think this fight will be close, but I think CDL, just because of the fact of his round ability, he does do a very good job of getting people into submissions. Now, people are going to say, Ryan, he does only have 1 submission in the UFC, but his amateur ground game is very, very good. Gregory Rodriguez, not the best amateur wrestler in the world, so I'm not going to think that he's going to be able to, defend the takedowns, defend the wrestling that much in this fight. I think if he can get Rodriguez on his back, then he can definitely finish this fight. And his striking isn't too impressive, which is why I think he will be going to the ground for this one. And I believe that he will get a submission in the 3rd round. Cole?
Yeah, I'm agree with you here. I'm gonna take I'm gonna go with Duncan. But I'm gonna go with the knockout in the 2nd round. I feel like he's just gonna get to Rodriguez. That reach is a big factor as well. He's got the big frame. Rodriguez has a bigger frame, but you look at the reach, and Duncan just 79-inch reach. I mean, I'm not going to argue with that. He only has 1 loss, and I'm just going to go with a KO here.
All right. Next, one of the most interesting fights on this card, which is Bobby Green versus Paddy Pimblett. Now, Bobby Green just coming off a win over Jim Miller, ranked number 15. Paddy Pimblett, not ranked right now, but is on a 6-fight win streak, which is something to take into consideration here. I am going to take Paddy Pimblett by split decision. Now, I know some people are not going to like it, and a lot of people don't like Paddy Pimblett. I'm not the biggest fan of him myself. But wrestling. You see a lot of wrestling on this card. I think Paddy Pimblett is going to get him to the ground. Now, Bobby Green is not going to want to go to the ground. He's a warrior, and he's going to desperately want to stand up and fight. He is, going to try and get up from these takedowns, from the wrestling, and I think he will succeed sometimes. I think he will beat Paddy Pimblett in the striking game, but Paddy Pimblett is superior, a far better wrestler than Bobby Green is, and I think we know that right now. And also, Paddy Pimblett, the shape he is in is absolutely incredible. When you look at him from January, where he was not looking that good, I mean, and now to the fact that he looks absolutely shredded in July, which that's just absolutely incredible. He must have the fastest metabolism out of anybody. But yes, I think that Paddy Pimblett will be going to the ground. I think that Bobby Green, when he does, he's going to be throwing a lot. He's going to be throwing a lot of wild punches because that's what Bobby Green does do. I think Paddy Pimblett is going to have to counter, shoot for takedowns, double leg. That's how you're going to get Bobby Green down. And I think he will be able to control the time on the ground and win this fight. Cole?
Yeah, I'm going to take Paddy Pimblett as well here, but I'm going to take him third round submission here. I think he'll do a good job, avoiding the takedown in the first couple rounds, but I think he's going to get tired out, and I think Pimblett's going to catch him off guard and end up getting him by submission in the third round.
All right. If I was a betting person, I would take Paddy Pimblett because he can definitely win this fight, and he's an underdog, so I would take him. But anyway, next, I think this fight should be for the heavyweight championship, but it's for the interim heavyweight championship. Cole, you and I and the audience knows my opinion on John Jones. He should be stripped of the heavyweight belt, and Tom Aspinall should be the undisputed champion. Either way, regardless, just so I don't confuse the fans, this is for the interim heavyweight championship. But I think Tom Aspinall is the real heavyweight champion. Either way, he's facing Curtis Blaydes for the interim belt. So, anyway, I'm going to take Tom Aspinall here by a fourth-round knockout. And just like the other fights, Curtis Blaydes is going to want to go to the ground. The only difference in this fight is that Tom Aspinall is so much faster than Curtis Blaydes. He has unreal quickness for a heavyweight, and Tom Aspinall's hands are way too fast for Curtis Blaydes. He's not going to be able to keep up. He is a pretty slow fighter, which I do believe Tom Aspinall will be able to tire him out with his quick jabs and quick combinations, which will eventually put Curtis Blaydes down in the fourth round. I think he will be able to avoid a lot of takedowns. He'll be able to step back and counter with, hooks and jabs and stuff like that when Blaydes does shoot for takedowns. I don't expect this fight to go to the ground. I think this will be the fight of the night because I think we will see a lot of action out of Tom Aspinall. Curtis Blaydes is not going to go down that easily, but I do think he will eventually go down in the fourth round by a knockout. Cole?
Yeah, so July 23rd, 2022 is when these opponents face last. And Curtis Bayless won by knockout.
Oh, no.
So, why not run it back? Give me Bayless.
Well, hold on, Cole.
Blaydes.
Tom Aspinall, obviously he won the last fight, but Tom Aspinall brutalized his knee in the first 15 seconds. Come on. You're still going to take Curtis Blaydes?
I have faith.
I can't believe you. This might be one of the boldest takes you have ever had when it comes to UFC predictions. If Curtis Blaydes does win this belt, the heavyweight division will be in a absolute flux. No one will know what to do because you have John Jones. Pereira wants to move up. If Tom Aspinall loses and Curtis Blaydes wins, nobody is going to know what to do. That's a very bold prediction.
No one wants to go against Aspinall. I will.
Wow. That is an unreal prediction. Anyway, but I respect it. I definitely respect it.
There's no way it's happening. But, when he wins, I want to be the guy who said, yeah, I said that.
All
You know what
right.
I'm saying?
And then the main event for the welterweight championship, Bilal Muhammad versus Leon Edwards. Now, Dana White actually might have a seizure in the middle of the ring if Bilal Muhammad wins the welterweight belt because of people say he's a very boring fighter. I kind of agree. I don't think he's the most exciting fighter, which is why he doesn't draw that much money. So if he does win, I think Dana White might actually die in the middle of the ring as he's putting the belt on him. But I don't see it that way. I'm going to take Leon Edwards by unanimous decision. I don't see this being a very good fight. I see this being a pretty boring fight in my opinion. But I think the card will be overall pretty good. I think that we will see some good moments in this fight. But I think the X factor in this fight is going to be the clinch. If Leon Edwards can land his strikes in the clinch, then I think he will win. If Bilal Muhammad is able to land elbows and get his takedowns in the clinch, and I think he will win. Bilal Muhammad is very mysterious when he does go into the clinch, which is why I think Leon Edwards might want to avoid it. If he does not want to avoid it, then that's on him. Then where's my notes here? And I think something that will also determine this fight: who puts on the most pressure. If you look at these guys' footage, when these guys are put on their back foot, they really don't know what to do. If you see in any of the fights that Leon Edwards has fought against Kamaru Usman, when he has been pressurized, he has not done a very good job defending it. Same thing with Bilal Muhammad. He has not done a very good job when it comes to being put on his back foot. In the first fight against Leon, when Leon was putting pressure on him, right after they got out of the clinch or something like that, he just kind of took it and ate it, which was obviously took kicks and ate punches, which is obviously not the greatest thing. So, I think that Leon will put more pressure on Bilal because he is the champion. He's going to want to defend his belt. So I think that Leon's kicks, which are very brutal, I think he's going to tire out Bilal, which will try and make sure Bilal does not go to the ground. If you're obviously tired and you don't have your legs and you can't wrestle, I guarantee Leon is not going to be able to defend the wrestling transitions of Bilal Muhammad. Leon also cannot get put up against the cage because something that Bilal Muhammad does so well, and he doesn't get a lot of credit for, is when he has you against the cage, he drops your hands and elbows you right on the bridge of your eyebrow, which is just absolutely incredible, and it does so much damage on fighters. That's something he does not get any credit for, and it's something he should get credit for. But then if people going back to the wrestling, when people say that Leon's so good against defending takedowns, Cole, I want you to go back to the Colby Covington fight when Leon defended his belt. Colby was shooting for the worst takedowns I think I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, come on, those takedowns were absolutely terrible looking. You can't say that Leon does such a great job defending takedowns when the guys that have tried to take him down, or at least when he was champion, the takedowns were not that impressive. But Bilal, a great wrestler, a great MMA wrestler, obviously amateur wrestling, he's not that incredible. But at the end of the day, I think that Leon will be able to tire out Bilal in this fight. I think he's just going to kick and jab his way to unanimous decision. But yeah, he can't take any rounds off because then Bilal will definitely hop on that opportunity. But anyway, Leon Edwards, unanimous decision. Cole?
Now I got another bold prediction.
Oh my gosh.
Talk about pressure, Ryan.
Wow.
Leon Edwards. By the way, this is not an upset take. I got Leon Edwards knocking out Bilal Muhammad.
Okay. In the first round. Whoa. Okay, that's interesting. How do you see? Let me ask you the question. How do you see that playing out?
You talk about pressure. I think Bilal's going to come out hot and ready. I think Leon's going to catch him off guard, catch him on that back foot, and I think he's going to end it a little bit early.
Wow. First round knockout. That is absolutely incredible. Wow. That is I thought you were going to say Bilal was going to win the fight because you might cause Dana White's death in the middle of the ring. I mean, if Bilal could actually win the belt. Bilal can't. I don't know. I feel like Bilal does have a chance, though. I really feel Bilal has a chance, which kind of makes me. I don't know. It kind of makes me a little. I don't know. It kind of makes me. It kind of makes me a little scared for anything to happen there. But
yeah, I mean, Bilal hasn't lost since Geoff Neal.
You are right. What do you call it? Also, all right, a little bit of news here. The Rams and quarterback Matthew Stafford have agreed to an adjusted deal, and he is reporting to training camp. Instead of a potential holdout or hold in, Stafford has no guaranteed money left after the year, but that will now change. So just a little bit of news there. Rams adjusting Stafford's contract, so no holdout there. But anyway, Cole, you have a point? Did you want to bring up a point?
No,
all right.
I'm good.
All right. Also, a little bit of news before we move into boxing, because we're going to comment on Jake Paul and Mike Perry. I actually forgot about to do the rundown today. Oh well, I was just so interested with the Phillies. Canelo Alvarez is going to be fighting Edgar Berlanga, and they're going head to head with UFC 306 at the Sphere, which is going to be very, very interesting. And this fight is also taking place in Las Vegas. So one fight's going to be at the T-Mobile Arena. the other amount of fights are going to be at the Sphere. So that's going to be very interesting right there. Obviously, you guys know I'm going to be watching the Sphere card. But anyway, as we move on to Jake Paul versus Mike Perry. Now, I started with the UFC. Cole, I'll let you start with this.
Oh, boy. You talked about Mike Perry. I'm really excited to see this fight, right? We constantly look at this. Is Mike Perry going to put up a fight? And he did not.
That was horrible.
He could not throw a punch for his life. He landed 33. He landed 11 jabs. He landed, 22 powerful punches. It was just not good whatsoever on Mike Perry's side. And then Jake Paul obviously took advantage of that, getting that knockout in the 6th round. Just caught him with, I think it was a left hook.
I don't remember, Cole. That was so.
No one really cares.
You couldn't even tell because he was throwing so fast.
Well, yeah, and Jake Paul should have ended it even earlier because that's how bad Mike Perry was that round or that match. I don't have much else.
I don't blame you. What could you talk about? Goodness gracious, Mike Perry looked so terrible. His foot. I mentioned it during the fight. His footwork looked terrible. He just couldn't. He didn't throw right. In BKFC, when he's fighting at BKFC, he has some head movement. He's moving it. He's bobbing and weaving and all that stuff. He just looked like he just was like a punching bag for Jake Paul. Literally did not move at all. And when he did get Jake Paul in the corner to try and land some combinations, he just let him slip out from under. Now, he did say after the fight that Jake Paul was faster than expected. So, obviously, that was something he didn't expect. I guess he just expected Jake Paul to eat the punches in the corner, which I don't see why, because Mike Perry is one of the most dangerous fighters in the world right now. I just don't understand why Mike Perry just couldn't do anything. Literally could not do anything. He didn't get his hands up. His hands were down. His movement, once again, his movement was terrible. He looked like Rocky Balboa. He took all the punches, he blocked all the punches with his head, but he didn't throw himself. God damn, that was just so terrible, that performance. And people, not a lot, but some people were saying, there were polls that were saying that Mike Perry would win this fight. Some great fighters and some great analysts were saying that Mike Perry was going to win this fight. The great Michael Bisping, the former UFC middleweight champion, was saying that Mike Perry was going to demolish Jake Paul. And he put on a terrible performance. So let's not act like the people who picked Jake Paul are the smartest people in the world. I want to point that out there. So many people were saying, oh, this was a landslide, this was that, this is that. No, some of the greatest fighters we have seen were picking Mike Perry to win this fight. So it's not our fault that we picked Mike Perry. I just want to point that out there. Now, I'm not defending anything, that the fact that I picked Mike Perry, I obviously, in hindsight, you obviously should have picked Jake Paul because he won. But I'm not trying to defend, that I said Mike Perry was going to demolish. I didn't say that Mike Perry was going to demolish him. I said he was going to win this fight. But I just want to say that there. I just want to point that out. Anyway, but yeah, at the end of the day, terrible performance by Mike Perry. Now, things I do want to point out, the whole Conor McGregor thing too, him firing Mike Perry off of Twitter, that's just absolutely crazy. Obviously, Mike Perry is not going to be fired from BKFC. Obviously, if Conor McGregor went to the high bosses and said it's either me or Mike Perry, we know Mike Perry's not going to have a job. But, at the end of the day, Mike Perry is the BKFC's biggest star. So they're not going to be getting rid of Mike Perry anytime soon, the king of violence. And I know Mike Perry's starting his own dirty boxing promotion where you can throw elbows and there's clinching and stuff like that. Kind of just sounds like another BKFC just with boxing gloves, but I digress. But when it comes to Jake Paul, this is kind of the stuff you want to see. You don't want to, everybody's saying, Jake Paul's not a real boxer, this, that, or the other. Cole, are you really that interested in seeing Jake Paul go for the WBC or WBA Cruiserweight Championship? I mean, are you that interested in seeing that? I mean, Cole, you didn't know who
I want to see, Ryan.
Yeah.
I want to see Jake Paul lose, man.
Well, I mean, this is what you're seeing. This is what you're going to get from Jake Paul. Cole, you didn't know who Mike Perry was until I started talking about him, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and then, obviously, I hyped him up a lot because obviously you've seen a lot of his BKFC fights, or I've talked about his BKFC fights. But this is kind of the stuff you want to see from Jake. Well, this stuff right here, this whole Mike Perry stuff, this is not the stuff that people are really clamoring for. Cole, you didn't even know who he was before. I brought him up. Now, obviously, I'm a combat sports fan, and I'm doing my best to make a fan out of you. But when I talk about Mike Perry, I was very interested in seeing this fight because I'm a big combat sports fan. When it comes to someone like Cole, who's getting into being a combat sports fan, but doesn't really know all, doesn't know everything about the sport. Hold on, Cole. Hold on.
No problem, Ron. So, while Ryan's gone, I might as well move on to the big.
All right, I'm back. I'm sorry, chat. I'm sorry, guys. Anyway, but yeah, when it comes to Jake, what is it?
You still got more on Jake Paul?
Yeah, a little bit more. When it comes to Jake Paul, you just want to see You just want to see, fights that are just going to get the non-boxing audience to clamor, which is like Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. I mean, there are probably people who are interested in Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. And you said, oh yeah, he's fighting tonight. He's fighting on July 20th against Mike Perry. They're going to say, Mike who? Nobody really cared about that fight. Everybody just wants to see the storyline or the something like WWE or something like that. People want to see the storyline, or some people want to see the storyline when it comes to wrestling. But people want to see the storyline. People want to see the build-up to the fight. Some people don't care about the actual fight. They're going to watch it, but they don't care about the actual fight. They care about the storyline coming into the fight, which is Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. So if you saw Jake Paul go try and capture a cruiserweight championship, no one's going to care. People will watch, but no one's really going to care. Jake Paul could get a championship. If Jake Paul called up the IBF today and said, I want a championship belt, they would call off all production or all anything, call off all business just to give Jake Paul a championship. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, people don't really care about Jake Paul, fighting guys like Mike Perry, who are obviously legit, BKFC fighters. But I feel like if Jake Paul really wants to take the boxing thing seriously, then he's going to actually have to start fighting, because eventually some people just aren't going to care, and some people aren't going to keep buying the pay-per-views. That's that at the end of the day. So yeah, that's really all. We're going to move on. We're going to get into a little bit of NBA, or actually, yeah, we'll go into the NBA. I'll let Cole start because I'm about to run out of air. So, Cole, we saw this morning Reggie Jackson signing with the Philadelphia 76ers, and he will sign as soon as he completes the buyout with the Charlotte Hornets, obviously after he got traded to them from the Denver Nuggets. Talk about how Reggie Jackson can make an impact with the Sixers.
Yeah, Ryan, this is a guy who played all 82 games. You look at our lineup, we have guys who get injured a lot of the time. Main guy, Joel Embiid. He says he could be the GOAT without being injured. I like him, but I doubt that. He would have been great, though, if he didn't get injured. He still has a chance to win the ring now, especially with this addition of Reggie Jackson. We weren't sure if Kyle Lowry was going to come back. He did, in fact, resign. And on top of that, you get another backup guard in Reggie Jackson. I really like this move. You look at Reggie Jackson. This is a guy who averages 4 assists in 22 minutes off the bench. He's been solid. He averaged double digits for the Nuggets last year. He was key in their 2023 playoff run. Or, I wouldn't say key, but he was in their 2023 playoff run. This guy, he's scrappy. I like him. I liked him when he was on the Clippers. A rotational guy. I just really like this move. he's not the greatest 3-point shooter, but he's a guy who can come off the bench and get some buckets. And experience. I mean, we look at guys like Maxey. Now, not only does he have Kyle Lowry to teach him, he also has Reggie Jackson. Reggie Jackson's been around the league. He was with the Thunder back with Westbrook and them. And then he was on Detroit for a while, which kind of sucked. But now you get a teammate of Paul George when he was with the Clippers. So just creating that chemistry, and especially, just having a vet in the building. And now I'm going to go over to Spencer Dinwiddie with the Mavs. I mean, this is a guy who's had really great production, but no one really knows about him. He has done great with Brooklyn over the years. At one point, he averaged 20 with Brooklyn back in 2019. He got, I think he tore something. Yeah, he played 3 games in 2020. I believe he tore something. But don't fact check me on that because I'm probably wrong. But yeah, I mean, he comes back. He did have a stint with the Dallas Mavericks in 2021 and 2022. He did play solid for them. In 2022, he averaged 17.5 points for them. That's really good. And he's going to come off the bench here. He's usually a starter. He came off the bench for the Lakers. This last season averaged 7 off the bench in 24 minutes. It's not the greatest, but he did shoot 39 from 3, which is solid. And he's a pretty solid free throw shooter. Shot 88% from the line last year. I mean, he's obviously not going to get a lot of free throws as backup guard, but this adds a lot of depth to their team. I mean, he's a great vet. They obviously have a lot of vets at the guard position with Luka, Kyrie, and now you got Clay. But yeah, this is definitely a second rotation guy who can definitely create an impact. We saw them in this finals. They did not have any guard depth really. When Luka and Kyrie got subbed out of the game, they really get taken advantage of on offense. Not really defense because Luka doesn't really play defense, but definitely on offense because of the production that Luka provides. But I think they can fill a little bit of that gap with the addition of Spencer Dinwiddie. That's all I really have. Ryan, you got anything else?
Yeah, definitely about Reggie Jackson, Spencer Dinwiddie. When it comes to Reggie Jackson, I do like the signing. I think he's going to be very good coming off the bench. Obviously, with the Nuggets not having that many role players last year, or that many decent they had decent role players, but they didn't have what they had for the year before with Jeff Green and Bruce Brown. He averaged 10 points off the bench, which is very good. He obviously you had Jamal Murray, had Kadavius Caldwell-Pope, which is good. So the fact that you're able to average double digits with that is good. 3-point shooting is something that I really want. He only averaged 35% from 3 last year. Career 34% shooter. So you know what you're going to be getting out of him there. Not bad at all. So yeah, I think this is a decent signing. He's going to be able to get some points off the bench. He's definitely going to be able to help out Maxey. Something that does concern me a little bit, and something that I hope Jackson will take into consideration, is that he's going to have to step up his defensive game. We don't really have that many defensive guards. Maxey obviously has upped his defensive production under Nick Nurse, but he's obviously not known for his defense. Kyle Lowry's getting a bit older, so his defensive shifts are going to be a bit slower.
I still think he's our best defender.
Yeah, you might be right. Jared McCain was obviously a very good perimeter defender at Duke, but he's a rookie. So, how much is he really going to produce there? And then you have Reggie Jackson, who's obviously always also not known for his defense. I mean, he doesn't really do it well, but doesn't do it bad at all there. So, I mean, yeah, so not really much to say there. But yeah, at the end of the day, good signing. I hope he plays defense a little bit more. I hope he shoots better from 3. But I mean, without really good role players, he averaged 10 points. With role players, he still averaged 8 points per game. So hopefully he can do that for the Sixers. Hopefully he can be that replacement for DeAnthony Melton. Now, obviously, Melton played defense a little bit better, but I'm sure you guys get my point. But yeah, good signing. Not really much to say about that. Spencer Dinwiddie, I got to pull up his stats really quickly here.
It's 7.5 for the Lakers.
What did you say? 7.5 for the Lakers. So he really didn't do much for the. Obviously, I watched some Lakers games, watched the playoffs. So when he did play, he averaged 6.8 points per game. So he wasn't a big contributor for the Los Angeles Lakers. Didn't really do much for them. He came in right at the end of the year. Did shoot 88% from the free throw line. Only 38% from three. I mean, he did average 10 points per game overall, 12 with the Brooklyn Nets when he had a better role. Now, he is going to be the starting backup, well, not the starting point guard, but the backup point guard to Kyrie Irving, so he is going to have an increased role. And when he does have an increased role, he does very, very well. With Brooklyn last year, when he was the starter, he was averaging 12 points per game. The year before that, 16 points per game. And then when he played,
cracked 20.
I know. And then that first year with Dallas, when he was also playing with Washington, he was over 10 points per game. So and he was
playing beyond Russell Westbrook then.
Yes, exactly. So when you take Spencer Dinwiddie and you put him in a good role, he is able to produce, which is something that I think the Mavericks see. And now he's going to be able to produce that for the Dallas Mavericks. Obviously, he knows the organization. He played with Luka Doncic before. He's played with most of the guys on the team because most of the guys that are on the Mavericks right now are pretty much on that team from the conference finals. So, I mean, I think it's a very good signing for the Dallas Mavericks. They didn't have to give up much to get him in the sign and trade. He obviously didn't want to have to wait with the Los Angeles Lakers to get a deal done because obviously they have no cap space at all whatsoever. They're pretty much handicapped. They can't do anything or else they'll go over the second apron. He wasn't going to wait around to get a minimum deal. So he went to the Mavericks. I guess he got some money. I don't really know the details of the contract, Cole, if you'd bring that up. But yeah, it doesn't even matter at this point. So yeah, at the end of the day, good signing. I think he will produce a lot for the Dallas Mavericks. And hopefully for them, they can get back to the NBA championship. But any final words, Cole?
None for you, Ryan.
All right, nothing over there. So now we're going to be moving on to the NFL. So you guys know last week I brought up the news. Obviously, any news that really comes up, I just kind of say it. Not really much else to it. When it comes to Caleb Williams, he got a contract last week. And it was a 4-year, I believe, $39 million. I think something around there. But Williams, 4-year deal, $39.4 million with a $25.5 million signing bonus. Rome Odunze obviously signed his contract, that being $22.7 million and a $13.3 million signing bonus. Now, obviously, when I said this, I didn't really think anything of it. But then I got to thinking, why did he take so late to sign this deal? So then I did some digging. Not that much digging. This is obviously all on the internet you could find. And I saw that Caleb Williams was trying to negotiate the Bears to take out the franchise tag option on his contract. Now, obviously, he's doing this because when his contract ends, he won't have to stay with the Bears. And the Bears will obviously have to give him a new deal, or he can just walk. So Caleb Williams is causing all this trouble and not signing a deal because he didn't want the franchise tag in his contract. Now, obviously, he does get, he doesn't want the 5th-year option. Sorry. Now, obviously, he's getting the 5th-year option because that's what most rookies have, is a 5th-year option. All first-round rookies have a 5th-year option. That's just basic. Caleb Williams, now, with all this, after all this stuff, he didn't want to report his medical records, didn't want to do this, wants part ownership in the team that he's drafted for, and didn't even step on the field for them, even without being drafted. He is putting so much pressure on himself for all this stuff that he wants, and now he is going to step on the field with the best possible talent you could ask for, and if he doesn't produce, he's going to get a lot of hate, and I don't count me out in that, because if he doesn't produce on a potential offensive rookie of the year level, then he's going to get a lot of hate from a lot of people. Now, I'm not going to hate on him for what he does off the field when it comes to painting his nails and all that. I don't want to get that confused. I'm going to hate for what he does on the football field. Because if he doesn't produce and he's causing all these problems, then Caleb Williams is not going to be worth all the trouble than he is actually going to be worth. Now, that was a bit of a tongue twister. I hope everybody understood what I meant, but I hope you guys do get what I meant. Bottom line, he's causing all these problems, and if he is not able to produce on the football field, he is going to be a very big problem for the Chicago Bears. Cole?
Yeah. I'm going to disagree, Ryan. I don't think he's going to be a problem at all. I see where you're coming from. I see it's definitely a possibility, but I don't see this happening. He was too good in college. I think he's going to do very, very well. As Bears quarterback. But anyways, I'm looking at the last couple guys to get drafted, top 10 as quarterbacks, right?
Mm-hmm.
You look at Bryce Young. He was okay. He was put in a horrible situation with the worst offensive line I've ever seen. And then you look at C.J. Stroud, who was put in a solid situation with great guys around him, good coaching, and he succeeded. Caleb Williams has an even better scenario than C.J. Stroud.
Ooh.
I think there's no way that he doesn't succeed. And I would put money on him. Obviously, I'm not going to do that. But anyways, I would put money on him being Offensive Rookie of the Year because I know what this lineup is about. I know DeAndre Swift. I know he's going to get 1,000 yards. DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, they both could go for 1,000 plus. Even Roman Odunze, he has upside at the wide receiver 3 position. I think he could be the best wide receiver 3 behind Tank Dell in the NFL after this season. You obviously got depth at the tight end position. Cole Kmet, Gerald Everett. Running back depth as well. Roshan Johnson, Khalil Herbert. You look at this offense, and you look. This team could have so much production. I think they're undervaluing the Bears at this point. I think they have a chance to win the division. You obviously got the Lions, which are a powerhouse, but I think they got a shot. And I'm sticking up for Caleb.
I don't disagree with you, but what I'm saying is if he does not live up to the expectation, then he is going to get a lot of hate coming from me as well, because I don't like all this stuff that where you want this and you want that and you haven't even stepped on the football field or you haven't even produced yet. So that's that. I think a lot of this NIL money is going to these guys' heads, and it's becoming a big problem. I predicted this to happen. Cole, there's a whole reason in 8th grade I wrote an 11-page paper on why there needs to be a salary cap on the NIL, but that's a different subject for another day.
You look at guys like brewing up clout, I guess, in their systems as high draft picks. Paul Skeens, he hasn't said a word, really, since we've seen him play. I mean, other than old Livy Dunn's story, we don't see much from him at all. I mean, he's a great representation of what to do as highly touted draft pick. I mean, he was unbelievable. He's made history.
Anyway,
I think Caleb Williams will too.
I don't disagree, but I'm just saying yes.
That's another topic for another day.
Yes, I agree with that. Anyway, moving on back to the MLB for a little bit. Now, speaking of Paul Skeens, we're going to get into his team overall. The Pittsburgh Pirates, who just beat one of the league's best Philadelphia Phillies in a 3-game series, winning 2-1. Now, the Pirates in a bit of talk. Obviously, Paul Skeens started in the All-Star game for the NL, which we both think was the right decision. So, Cole, what is now the Pirates' ceiling in the AL?
In the NL, right?
Or NL, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, you're all good. They're in the NL Central right now. I wouldn't say they're going to win the division, but I definitely think they will make the wild card. There's no doubt in my mind that Paul Skeens and this team, they have a great infield as well. Not a great infield, but Grandal, Tellez, Triolo, Hayes, O'Neal Cruz. I mean, this is just a solid team built around veterans and, young talent as well. I mean, Mitch Keller, he's a young prodigy. Jared Jones, rookie, he's obviously injured right now. Bailey Falter, former Philly, he's injured right now as well. But, I mean, you look at this team, they have a solid lineup. Aroldis Chapman, he got his bag. Now he's, trying to win a World Series, a second one. But I'm not saying that they have the ceiling of the World Series, but I think they have a shot at the pennant. David Bednar, he's a great closer for them. I think he's like top couple in the league in saves. I think he might be 5th. Oh, never mind. Tied for 13th. My bad, guys. Yeah, I mean, definitely this team could surprise the people. Kind of like Alec Bowman in the home run derby. I thought he had a chance, but yeah, I mean, Brian Reynolds, Jack Sawinski, Michael A. Taylor. Obviously, we know what he was with the Nationals. But anyways, I think he's a great center fielder. I think he's solid in the outfield, great defender. You also got Connor Joe off the bench. You look at what he's produced in Coors Field and how he's transitioned into Pittsburgh. You also got Andrew McCutchen, his veteran experience. He's been in those spots before. Yeah, I definitely think this team has a chance, especially in the playoffs. I think they can ride their top 3 guys in Mitch Keller, Paul Skeens, and you'd either go Martin Perez or Jared Jones for the 3rd spot. But I mean, they definitely have a chance. And this is a streaky, hot lineup. You saw they dismantled the Phillies pitching staff the first 2 games. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what you think, Ryan, but 2 games above 500 is nothing to scream and shout about. But I think this team is definitely taking a step up after the All-Star break, and I think that they really have a chance, especially with this dominance against the Phillies. They don't have a very tough schedule ahead of them. I mean, they have a couple of away games on the West Coast, but I mean, other than that, they got a pretty easy schedule, I'd say. If you want me to go through the guys, I mean, they have St. Louis, and then they have Arizona away, Houston away, Arizona home, San Diego home, LA away, San Diego away, and then they have Seattle home, Texas away, Cincinnati home. What's up?
Finish your point.
Cubs. I mean, you get what I'm saying. When they get even down the stretch, I mean, their last game is going to be at New York. That's an all right game, but I think the New York Yankees are probably going to be set with their position pretty much. I think one of the teams will clinch, and then the Brewers and Cincinnati. I think they'll have a good end of the season. I'll say that. What just happened?
October 19th. PFL, Renan Ferreira, Francis Ngannou. Wow. He just revealed to Joe Rogan in Saudi Arabia. The date is not finalized, but Ngannou says he will fight Ferreira in Saudi Arabia in Saudi before the year's end, that being from MMA Orbit.
That's insane.
Francis Ngannou is back in MMA, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. I'll have to talk more about that later. Could be a YouTube video. But anyway, let's stick that. All right, we're gonna stick to the script. What's up, everybody in the chat? By the way, we'll stick to the script. The Pittsburgh Pirates. Now, Cole, I don't disagree with anything you say. I piggyback after everything you say about their depth, about their playing. I really like the way McCutchen has been playing these past couple of weeks as well, especially against the Phillies. I don't like the way he played against the Phillies, but he played well. The Pirates, I want to point out, are 8-2 in their last 10 games. The teams above them right now, the New York Mets, 7-3 in their last 10 games. We got to talk about them. They're also doing very, very well, as much as I hate to say it. The St. Louis Cardinals, a team that is right below them and right above them, right in their division, and the Pirates are
this weekend.
Yeah, the Pirates are half a game behind them, and
They just beat them.
I know, and they're 4-6 in their last 10. The Atlanta Braves, who are atop the wild card, are 4-6 in their last 10. So when you look at and then also San Diego, you also have San Diego and Arizona right there, but I mean, if you look at San Diego, they're 3-7 in their last 10. Arizona 6-4 in their last 10. They're on a 2-game losing streak right now. So when you look at the trajectories that these teams are going, and then when you look what the Pirates are doing, and and the depth and the the great play that they have been doing these past couple of weeks, this team should cruise to a wild card spot. And I think they win the division? That's very debatable because you obviously have the Milwaukee Brewers in there, and that's a team that you need to look out for. But the way the Pirates have been playing and the way the teams above them and below them have been playing, this should be an easy road to the wild card. Once again, Cole, I don't disagree with anything you just said. You obviously know the pitching and all that way better than I do, and I've said that for the millionth time. But it's true. But at the end of the day, the way the Pirates are looking and the way everybody else who is competing with them is looking, there should be no doubt that the Pirates are going to get a wild card spot. I think could they win their division? Once again, it's possible, but I really wouldn't count out the Milwaukee Brewers just because of recency success from the Pittsburgh Pirates. Anything else, Cole?
I got nothing.
All righties. Moving on to our final topic of the day. Now, more of a ceiling thing. We're always talking about the ceiling. Now, at the end of the day for the Pirates ceiling, if they do make the playoffs, I would probably say a first-round exit. I don't really see them getting to the NLDS. Cole, would you agree there?
I said that they have a shot.
I think they have a shot, but I don't know if it'll happen.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're going to be a wild card, so I think they're going to end up winning the wild card and then versing the 1 seed, which is either
probably the Phillies,
the Dodgers.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, moving on.
So yeah, yes.
All right. Moving on, now more of ceiling to the Denver Nuggets. Now, we obviously were talking about Reggie Jackson. He got traded from the Nuggets, and Kadavius Caldwell-Pope has left the Nuggets. But now the Denver Nuggets are replacing, I guess you could say they're replacing Kadavius Caldwell-Pope with Russell Westbrook, who was expected to sign with the Denver Nuggets and now has officially signed with the Denver Nuggets. So Russell Westbrook, who came off the bench for the most part last year for the Denver Nuggets. I mean, he didn't play that great, but he played all right. Now, when it comes to Russell Westbrook with the Denver Nuggets, I think this is pretty good. He did decent in his role with the Los Angeles Clippers. I think when it comes to the Denver Nuggets and he's playing behind Jamal Murray, I think that he will succeed in that role. Now, the starting shooting guard position, Christian Braun might step up. He might have to step up there unless the Nuggets can find somebody else or maybe swing a trade. But that's a different subject for another day. But when it comes to Russell Westbrook being the backup point guard, I think he will succeed. I think the Nuggets, after losing Bruce Brown and Jeff Green, they need some very decent role players to come up and really, come off the bench and produce good minutes. I think Russell Westbrook at this stage in his career is very capable of doing that. Why? Because he was able to do it with the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, the Nuggets ceiling right now, I definitely think it's a championship. I think this is one of the best teams in the NBA. They are able to get some depth. They have Dario Saric now, who they just signed, who I think is a very underrated signing. Obviously, you just signed Russell Westbrook here. Peyton Watson, another good one. That's another good one right there. Obviously, you have Jokic, Murray, Michael Porter Jr., DeAndre Jordan backing up. Nikola Jokic, Jordan, no one to sneeze at as well. Aaron Gordon, he's definitely going to play well. I have no doubt in my mind. Justin Holiday, who is underrated in my opinion. Now, obviously, he doesn't score that much, but I think he contributes stuff that doesn't show up on the scoreboard. Christian Braun might have to step up to that shooting guard position. Once again, Cole, unless they can find somebody else, which I don't think they will. But I think they definitely have some okay guards, I guess, to back up. I mean, you could switch over Justin Holiday to that guard position. Not really much else to say about that. I think that they definitely will, can definitely get back to the championship, can at least get back to the Western Conference Finals with the way they're looking. I just hope that starting shooting guard position can get filled for them by the time the season starts.
Yeah, completely agree with you.
All right. I don't think there's really else more to say there. I think we can get on to Ryan's rants, and then we'll wrap it up for the day. Cole, give me the first topic.
Joe Hendry not winning the TNA title.
Let me ask you something, Cole. Do you believe in Joe Hendry? We
No, don't know who he is.
we believe in Joe Hendry on this show. I believe in Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry is the most over wrestler in the world right now. I want to point that out. So you're not going to not know who Joe Hendry is anymore. He is the most over wrestler right now. There is nobody who should not believe in Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry, for some reason, at Slammiversary, did not win the TNA Championship. They gave it to Nick Nemeth. Now, Nick Nemeth obviously was a great wrestler in WWE. Multiple-time world champion, Intercontinental champion, United States champion, Mr. Money in the Bank. We know when he was Dolph Ziggler, he was a great wrestler. He has done a great job. He won championships in AAA, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and now TNA. I'm not saying Nick Nemeth doesn't deserve it, but when you have the most over wrestler in wrestling right now, why are you not putting the championship on him? TNA is not a global company like WWE and AEW is right now. They need popularity. They need people to watch their show. Why are you not putting the best wrestler, not the best wrestler, but the most over wrestler that you have? Why are you not putting the championship on him? Your top championship on him? It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Now, hopefully he can win it down the line. Or maybe TNA knows he's leaving for WWE when his contract expires. But you need people to watch your product. I don't watch TNA on a regular basis. Cole doesn't even watch wrestling on a regular basis. But, I mean, when you're talking about your most over wrestler, and I keep repeating this, why is your top prize not on him? Like in the UFC, Dana White wants his most popular fighters to have the championships on them. Like John Jones. Why do you think John Jones hasn't been stripped of the heavyweight championship? Because he's John Jones. Why are you not putting your most popular wrestlers? Why are you not putting the top prize on them? It makes no sense whatsoever. Cole?
Packers won't pay Jordan Love.
The Packers had such a great end to their season last year. They they demolished the Dallas Cowboys in the wild card. You almost beat the San Francisco 49ers. If a few less mistakes here and there, the Packers would have been in the NFC Championship game and possibly the Super Bowl, depending on how the Lions game would have went. But now you just won't pay Jordan Love. Who are you paying that you can't pay Jordan Love? I understand you don't want to pay him $60 million like Dak Prescott, and you're not going to have to. Just pay the man. You had such a great end to the last year. Why do you want to create problems with your starting quarterback and your potential future guy? It doesn't make any sense to me, Cole. Let's just go on to the next one, because that makes me pissed.
Serbia ranked higher than Team Canada?
Now, I'm talking about in basketball. This is ESPN's list when it comes to when it comes to basketball. When it comes to basketball, this is ESPN's list when it comes to the Olympics. Serbia is a good team. I am not denying that. But when it comes to all the NBA talent that Canada has, why are they ranked below Serbia? It's only by one spot. But why are they ranked below Serbia? It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. I understand they have a good team. But also, when you take into consideration what the top team, USA, did to Serbia, and then the Canada put up a good fight against them, why is Canada being ranked below Serbia when Canada gave a better fight to the top team? It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. ESPN, get your list right. Honorable mention, John Jones. See, I don't know if John Jones should. The ESPN put out a list, Cole, of the top UFC fighters since 2000. It was John Jones ranked number 1 and George St. Pierre ranked number 2. I don't like that John Jones was ranked number 1. Now, obviously, John Jones is the greatest of all time, but John Jones has had multiple drug tests positive.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I really don't like George St. Pierre has been clean throughout his entire career. Now, obviously, everybody loses. Muhammad Ali is lost. Mike Tyson lost. Everybody loses. John Jones has obviously never lost, but he has had multiple drug tests positive. I still think John Jones is the greatest fighter of all time. But when it comes to clean, you have to be 100% clean. George St. Pierre is the greatest of all time. And when you take into consideration that ESPN is ranking this, why wouldn't you take drug tests into consideration? It just doesn't seem like they were doing that. John Jones, it's proven that John Jones has had positive drug tests. Why? I don't really understand the reason that you put John Jones number one all time, or number one since 2000. It is what it is. I'm not going to get too upset about it because I think John Jones is the greatest of all time, but I just want to put that out there. Anything else to point out here, Cole?
I got nothing.
You been playing NCAA 25? You got it yet?
I have an Xbox One.
Oh. All right. You got. I will say it's good. There's a bit of glitches in the game, but it's a good game. I really like the game. But anyway, you'll get it. You'll get to it. You'll get to it. Yeah. I think that's really it. Yeah, that'll do for the latest edition of the CR7 Podcast, guys, and we will see you later. Peace.